This year is already looking to be another incredible year, not only for games, but for JRPGs as well, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. So there's a lot that I am super excited about. So I hope you'll join me and have a look at some of the most exciting releases coming out in 2025. Before we get to that, as always, don't forget to like this video and make sure you subscribe to the channel and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on some of the games here today. If I don't mention something, I'd love to know what games I'm missing and what games you're hyped for as well. So let's get to the list. Now, I know it's not specifically a JRPG, but I have covered a lot of Yakuza stuff on my channel before, and being a new Yakuza fan, I'm incredibly excited to digest yet another game in this long beloved series. So first up, we have Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which is coming out February 21st, and this is more or less a spin-off similar to Like a Dragon, The Man Who Erased His Name. So maybe not quite necessarily a mainline game, but more so following the events of the game from last year, which was Infinite Wealth. The game is going to center around Majima, a more prominent figure in the series and one of my favorite characters in the series, who finds himself stranded on an island and suddenly having amnesia, which is kind of a weird one. Why would he have amnesia? I guess this is just an excuse for him to have his own game, more or less. You know what? I am not complaining. I'm more than happy to have another game, especially with Majima at the helm. He's going to become entangled in some conflicts involving the local Hawaiian pirates and former Yakuza from Japan. Assuming the role of a pirate captain, he's going to embark on some quests, uncover hidden treasure, and reclaim, hopefully, his lost memories. Now, piggybacking off of Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, of course, we're going to have Hawaii to explore, which is going to be great. I'm going to love exploring that whole map with Majima. And in terms of combat, it's not turn-based. It's going to be that beat-em-up style, but offering two distinct fighting styles from Majima. Here we have the swift Mad Dog style, and then the Sea Dog style, which incorporates dual cutlasses, pistols, and other pirate weaponry. So it's going to be really fun. And I don't think it looks gimmicky. I think because it's Majima and he's just ridiculously crazy, it all just fits really well, which is really exciting. And if you like some of the mini games and side stuff in the Yakuza series, there's so much to do, like karaoke, crazy delivery, dragon cart. This is going to be a great new release. Very, very excited. I cannot wait to dig into this game and hopefully, just experience everything this game has to offer. Next up, coming out in early March, is going to be the Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remaster games. Now, this is a series that I have held off on playing specifically because the HD remakes were announced, and I've just been waiting for them to come out. Now that we finally have a release date, very, very excited. Now, the only thing I'm not 100% sure on is I know that Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Hero is more or less a Suikoden inspired game, or you can call it a spiritual successor to Suikoden. I didn't really love it per se. I thought it was an okay game, but it didn't really grab me in the way that I wanted to. So I'm hoping that Suikoden 1 and 2, specifically 2, because I know people say that 2 is the better out of 1 and 2. That's supposedly the one that grabs you and one that has a lot of the great characters in it and is overall more the better game. But anyway, aside from that, Suikoden 1 and 2 is going to be amazing in terms of visuals. It's going to have the remastered HD visuals with redesigned stuff, not only character sprites, but maps and backgrounds, and that it's going to bring more detail and vibrancy to the game world. And it's one of those things that, like with Star Ocean, The Second Story R, which was a beautiful PlayStation 1 game, I think that with these games having been on the original PlayStation, those kind of visuals really go well when being pumped up to an HD visual style. So I'm super stoked to play these games. I love the turn-based combat. I love the idea of collecting different characters. There's just going to be so much here. And of course, I don't know anything about Suikoden 1 and 2, but I'm really, really excited to finally give these games a shot and just figure out what the hype is all about. Coming up next is Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, coming out in March, end of March this year. And I'm very, very excited because this is a game that I played on release back in 2015 for the Wii U. It's one that I've tried to get into a handful of times, and it's never really stuck with me, purely because it's just a different kind of game. It has that core Xenoblade experience, but it's more gameplay focused rather than story focused. And to be honest with you, I really need a good story to keep me hooked into these games. But I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try and see this game through because there's a lot of really cool stuff that I still want to get to, including, all the skells, like the Gundam-like things. And not only that, this game is looking really, really great because it has an enhanced visual presentation. It's going to have that coat of paint like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition had for the Switch. So it's going to be beautiful. Character models are going to be looking a little bit better. And additionally, there's going to be some new narrative elements that hopefully delve a little bit deeper into the game's storyline. Is it going to tie into the rest of the series? Is this going to be something that ties it into Xenosaga? Is this going to be something that ties into Xenogears? I honestly have no idea, but I'm really looking forward to giving this one a shot. I'm going to try and see it through and just play the game for what it is rather than expecting something out of it that it's not, which is a story-driven game. And I really like story-driven games, but I also am a sucker for the Xenoblade Chronicles style combat system as well. So I'm really looking forward to this one, looking forward to some of the new stuff that's there in terms of story, and I just want to immerse myself into the planet of Mira again. This is one of the biggest games for the Wii U that had zero pop-in, more or less. Everything was there for you to explore at any given time, assuming you had the full map. But this was an amazing game back on the Wii U. I don't know how the Wii U pulled it off. I'm assuming it's going to do really well on the Switch as well. And it's kind of funny that both of these games are coming out very, very late in both of the consoles' life cycles. Very exciting. I hope you guys pick this one up. Now, hang on, before we get to any more games, I want to let you guys know that almost 91% of the people that watch my channel on the regular are not subscribed. So if you like weekly JRPG content, I would love to have you here as well. And if you want to support the channel a little bit more, I do have channel memberships, which gives you access to some cool badges and emotes and other rewards as well. So make sure to check the link down in the description that says channel memberships or join. You can see what's there and see what you might be interested in as well if you want to support the channel. Anyway, back to another exciting game that I think you guys might actually be really hyped for. Another set of remastered games is coming out this year, which is the Lunar Remastered Collection, bringing us Lunar Silver Star Story and then Lunar 2. Now, these are games that, again, I have never touched, and I've had so many people recommend these games to me specifically, and I just never have got to it. It's one of the few titles on the PlayStation 1 in terms of JRPGs that I've just never bought. I never played. I was never really aware of them growing up, and this is only something I found out about, later on in life. Now, these games are some more PlayStation 1 games that are being HDified. Now, this one isn't super HD in terms of HD 2D. It's more of like a general visual upgrade. It still has that same vibe that I had on the PlayStation 1, but everything's just going to be a lot more clear and of course widescreen as well. But this is a beautiful game. I love the pixel art of these kind of games, and of course it just looks gorgeous, and having been on PlayStation 1, it just looks really great with the visual presentation and the visual treatment they've done here. I think a lot of the cutscenes as well that are being shown in the trailer have been AI upscaled, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because they're not going to have the source files for that, so it looks a little bit more crisp and clean. I don't know anything about these games. I'm really, really excited to figure out what these games are about, and yeah, hopefully enjoy them as much as you guys do. Another surprising release for 2025 is a game that I haven't really looked at until right now because I wanted to go into it totally blind, but if I'm making a video about it, I have to have some sort of knowledge about it. But Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is an upcoming dark fantasy RPG developed by Sandfall Interactive, and this is going to be really exciting because I don't want to say it's giving me Lost Odyssey vibes, but it's also giving me kind of like Lost Odyssey vibes being set in a more realistic world, I suppose. And of course, it's turn-based with some real-time mechanics. I think the aim is to make things more immersive and more engaging than just being standard turn-based stuff, which is totally fine by me. But I'm really looking forward to this. It's a beautiful-looking game, and it has an incredibly stacked voice cast as well. And visually, aside from being stunning, it reminds me of some of the late 19th century stuff that The Order 1886 was doing back in PlayStation 4 days, which is a beautiful game. And I actually really, really like that aesthetic. It's not something that you really see a whole lot of per se, but being in that kind of vibe or atmosphere is going to be very interesting because we're used to high fantasy stuff really with Final Fantasy or anything else, and this is going to be a more grounded, realistic approach. So I'm really interested in this. I don't really know much, and I'm trying to keep it bare minimum for what I know. So I'm probably going to condense it with this and just commenting on this with the trailer that's playing here. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I hope you guys are too. Let me know your thoughts. Now, here's a series that I've loved since I was a kid, and it's a series that I actually really haven't talked about a lot of, or really if at all, on my channel, and that's Pokemon. And the reason why is I've been burned out on Pokemon big time, and it really started with the Diamond and Pearl remakes, followed by Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus. I just got really burned out on this formula, but I will say Legends Arceus did something interesting by changing it up. While I didn't really like the approach, I liked the idea, and I'm hoping to see something a little bit similar in terms of gameplay for Pokemon Legends Z to A. Allegedly might come out this year, so I'm kind of reserving my excitement or hype for anything Pokemon related because I'm an old school fan. And not to say that I don't like new Pokemon games, but let's be honest, they're not always really great. So I'm kind of cautiously optimistic for anything new in terms of Pokemon. The thing is with the Pokemon games is it's just rinse and repeat, use your attacks, and then you blast through the story. I never really got into the catch-em-all thing. I never really got into the breeding or the shiny stuff. I just played these games for the main campaign, and that's it. I've never really had friends to play with or train with or battle with or whatever. So it's a totally encapsulated experience. I'm hoping that Pokemon Legends might do something kind of in line with Arceus because that was probably the most compelling story in terms of Pokemon games that we've had over the last little while. It really dropped off for me with Sword and Shield, and then it's really been kind of going downhill for me and picked up a little bit with Legends Arceus. But I'm just cautiously optimistic about anything Pokemon in the future. I don't know. I'm just interested. That's all I am. I'm interested. Not totally hyped or excited, but just interested. Now, yet another remake coming out at some point this year. At least I'm assuming this year is going to be Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD remake, which is going to be the follow-up to Dragon Quest 3, which makes sense because 3 is pretty much first in the timeline. And I really enjoyed 3. That was my first old school Dragon Quest game after having played Dragon Quest 11 when that first came out many years ago and really enjoyed that. I enjoyed Dragon Quest 3. It's a more basic old school game, which obviously, yes, because that came out in '89 originally, and this is the remake of that. These are going to be the same deal. It's going to be that beautiful HD 2D aesthetic. The aim of these games pretty much is to preserve the charm of the original games while enhancing them for contemporary audiences. Now, the interesting thing for these games is that it doesn't have the class system or the job system like 3 did, so the characters we get are going to be what we get. I haven't played Dragon Quest 1 or 2, so I don't know anything about them other than 3 comes first. The world that is set up at the end of 3 is the world that's playable in 1 and 2. And of course, yes, it continues on through there in terms of some story stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited for these because I thought Square did a really great job modernizing what was an NES game, more or less, for modern consoles. Beautiful game, beautiful soundtrack, very enjoyable, and I cannot wait to finally dig into Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for the announcement for release date. It's going to be great. So that's my list. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to know some of your opinions on the games that I've listed here. I know there's a few more things coming out this year, but I'm not totally aware of everything. This is just mostly what I'm hyped for. So yes, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment your thoughts down below. We'll see you again on another video next week. Bye-bye.